Come on with it. You ready?
Davy is ready to take your questions. He's getting 3 from the room and 3 from you. He'll get 1 to boomerang, but he has to answer that one first. All right. We go clockwise. That means the first goofy question comes from Buck.
It's not goofy.
Buck's going to ask you something about being a gopher.
Nah, it's a prairie dog. Davy, so this building, the Beasley building, is going through some changes.
It is.
We have a new leader in the building,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So now that we have somebody new here, somebody new in charge, someone new in charge of the money,
Okay.
what is one thing with Wild 94.1 that you hope finally gets addressed and fixed?
Oh man, something that finally gets addressed and fixed.
Ooh.
Jeez, that's a tough one. I would say.
Look at the camera when you say this, since you're going to be saying it to our boss.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tampa,
Davy
boss.
trying to get you in trouble.
I would hope that staffing gets where we don't have to let any more people go. I hope that the cuts have been made, everything that they needed to do as far as hiring, firing, and all that is kind of like a thing of the past. Because a lot of people are on edge. So I think being able to work past this, move forward would comfort a lot of employees here. So that's what I
Agreed.
say.
Yeah, what he said. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Meredith, you're next up. What you got?
Davy,
Dímelo.
do you know a family secret that you're not supposed to know? Or were you just told, or did you just find out? Are there any family secrets in your family, maybe growing up you had no idea about, and now you're like, wow, I had no idea that happened?
I found out a family secret maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, something that I never knew about. I don't want to say which family member, but
I was about to say, you going to tell a long-standing family secret on
No,
the radio?
I'm not. But I'll keep it very vague. But somebody in the family had an affair with a next door neighbor years and years ago, and it led to divorce. It led to 2 people never speaking to each other again.
Oh, wow.
It led to one of the people kind of almost getting off the grid, like being very hard to communicate or access. And this happened years and years ago, but it was news to me. I just found out about it recently, and it was pretty deep, where like best friends became strangers and husband and wives became estranged, and it was a lot of drama. I was a
Damn.
jit, so I wasn't privy to that information then.
Did you remember back then?
I remembered divorce happening,
But you didn't remember
But
why.
nobody ever even hinted at me why.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they do. You protect the kids.
Yeah, for real. Keep us stupid. All right, let's see. My question, since everything, because Election Day is like 8 days away.
Okay.
Or 9. So, Davy, you are running for office.
All right.
And you're running, you have to pick a running mate from the Wild Air staff.
Okay.
Okay, you have to pick a partner, a running mate, vice president, vice senator, whatever it is you're running for. You got to pick a vice person on the air.
Okay.
And you also have to pick your press secretary, the person who's going to now do all the talking for you.
Got you.
To the press. Who would you choose out of all of our Wild fam on the air?
Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to pick which one of you guys would be best for which position.
That's usually why we say, which one would you pick?
And
No.
no. So
It sounds like he's filling all parts.
I would say, okay, so I would give Meredith the honor of being my running mate.
Okay, all right. So Meredith is your running mate.
Meredith could be my running mate. And initially I was going to say you,
Oh, no.
but
I don't run.
the thing is that when you run for one of these offices, they take a deep dive into every little nook and cranny of your past.
You need some
And I
cane.
just
Trying to
feel
say I got a bad
I feel like there might be more skeletons in your closet than in Meredith's.
Yeah.
But However, you would do a very good job as the press secretary with like a tough question and kind of positioning it where you don't even answer the question.
I'm good at that.
Yeah,
I'm good at that.
Yeah, and you're more guarded with your words, but I think Meredith would come back cleaner on a background check.
I gotta say, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Oh, that's great.
All right, you got 3 questions in and still hasn't used his pass. If you got questions for Davy, all you got to do is ask. It is 888-429-0941. We're running on the other side. Hold on. All right, Freak Show. It is Plead the Fifth Part 2. We have Davy under the microscope. He has answered the first 3 from the room with new management here. What did he want to send as a message? He was hoping that all of the end of year cuts and all that stuff is a wrap so everybody can get back to the boogie.
Yeah.
Meredith asked, what did you ask?
Family secret.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Davy had
I feel like everybody has a
it was an
family
uncle
secret.
that disappeared or something.
No, it wasn't my uncle.
Somebody in the family disappeared on the divorce thing, and now that he's an adult, he found out exactly why.
Yeah.
Kind of shook him up. I asked him if he was running for office, who would be on the staff his running mate. He said Meredith. Who would be his press secretary? That would be moi.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now you have to answer 3 from outside. Still got a pass and a boomerang. What we got?
Out of the 813, Davy, when Kenzie was there, did you two ever hit it off? If no, how close did you come to popping off?
No, we never, nothing. Didn't come close whatsoever. Didn't try. She got booed up pretty quickly after getting in here, and I stay away from all that drama. We were cool, but very, very passively, because she would come in when we would be leaving, and that was probably the extent of it. I'm a lot closer with Babs, because Babs is the type that'll like call you, randomly text you.
Babs knows she use a phone.
Yeah. I
She'll
never
call you in a heartbeat.
I never talked to Kenzie outside of here, and rarely saw her if it wasn't just like out at a club or something like that. So isn't that nothing ever close to?
This comes from Rob. It says, prior to Joanna,
Okay.
how many others wanted to marry Mr. Rolando, but he played runaway groom?
Oh man.
Can you name some reasons why?
I don't know how many wanted to marry me, but I know of a few different girls that I was in a little situationship with that would have liked things to get more formal, more serious. Before getting with Joanna, I was single for probably about 8 or 9 years.
Ooh.
And in the mix, there were, girls that would come and go. And a lot of them wanted me to take our relationship or whatever we had more seriously. And I knew that they were kind of temporary.
Good for one thing.
So you never really were tempted to ask the question to anybody else? This is like the first time you actually felt that tempted?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Really? Nobody even came close. It wasn't even like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing ever.
That's major.
Yeah.
All right.
Out of the 813, Davy, have you ever DJ'd a same-sex wedding before? If you have, did it ever make you feel some type of way?
I've done about 4 or 5. I just did one like 3 weeks ago. Not feel some type of way whatsoever. They were honestly the same-sex weddings have been some of the most fun ones that I've ever gotten to be a part of. There was a situation with a father, one of the bride's fathers, that it was kind of uncomfortable for everybody that witnessed it. But aside from that, no. I circle them on my calendar because I know it's gonna be a turn up. And
you put a rainbow around it?
Yeah,
circle.
And I've done I think it's 5 at this point, but it's all been females. So I'm actually looking forward to my first 2 dudes getting married too. So no, have never felt any type of way. It's fun, man. I love it.
Is the music different? Because you're the minister of music. So,
Yeah.
do you have to, you do a couple of type of weddings, and I'm like, all right, Davy, so, get the sunshine and some out for this one. Do you have to,
For the first one I did, they wanted there was like a few songs that were like important to them that I probably wouldn't have played without them letting. They're like Lady Gaga was real big. I don't really usually play too much Lady Gaga. There was a couple of songs here and there that, but they gave me the heads up, hey, because we were always in communication. So
you do that with all of the weddings.
Yeah. So I know kind of what y'all are into.
All right, word.
Word.
I think that's your third.
That's my third.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you got to boomerang anyone on back or not.
Let's talk family secrets.
Ooh.
Let's
Damn.
talk about it. What's the secret your family's been keeping?
I got one.
got one?
I got one off the top of my head that I found out a long time ago. Growing up, my dad never told me anything about like going and doing wild parties and stuff like that. His brother from Michigan came down one day and was spilling the tea.
Uh-oh.
Told me that they went to Woodstock together.
Oh.
Right? And then they drove there together, and then he didn't see my dad till 3 days later.
Oh, wow.
And when he saw him, he hadn't been asleep yet.
Oh, God. He was on
Your father
something.
did a rager.
I guess so. That's the one that Jimi Hendrix was at and all that. So
That was he was on some stuff.
turns out he was like front row for Jimmy. I was like, wow, Dad, wow.
How do you not say that ever?
He didn't want me to
didn't
go,
want him to-
yeah, I want to do it too.
Yeah, you don't want your kid growing up with the shrooms and all
Yeah.
that stuff. That was crazy.
Up for 3 days. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't have any like secrets in my family. Like at least they don't tell me because I know they know I'll tell it. Like I got a microphone, they ain't gonna tell me.
I found out after said situation, but my mom was divorcing her second husband, and I found out why because lawyers were involved, but not just because of divorce lawyers. It was because he was getting sued at his company because he was having an affair with somebody that he worked with. And my mom never found out until the lawyers from the job started sending mail and stuff like that to the house. My mom's like, what's going on here? And then finally she found out. And then all these like HR tapes and, everybody, those things that you have to watch to make sure don't hug somebody too tight. Yeah, that happened because he cheated. So,
at the company?
At the company, yes.
no.
So it went down like that.
There was a lady who used to visit my dad's gas station all the time, and she was pretty, but she was really friendly with my dad, like really nice. And I just knew her. I just knew, because I used to sell. I was too young to pump gas like all the time, so they would let me sell cigarettes and stuff like that. So I knew what type of cigarettes she would buy because she would come all the time. And then I later found out that was the lady.
Oh, yeah.
That was the lady that was trying to break stuff up.
Oh, man.
And I was like, that was, it was kept from me a long time because I was so young. But after I figured it out, I stopped waiting on her.
Did you ever ask?
I did. I stopped taking her cigarettes.
Okay.
Huh?
Did you ever ask, like, your dad back in the day? Or
Yeah, because it hit the fan, like when it got to court cases and like where it was time for them to decide who I was going to go live with, my mom or my dad.
Oh, it got that far.
It got that far down the line, and I was like, I sat down with my pops, and I'm like, listen, he's like, you coming with me? And I was like, I can't. I'm like, I can't leave Mom. You leaving Mom. I'm like, dude, she got to have somebody here. And like, I'll be the man in the house. And I was like 8th grade.
Damn.
And so I was like, I really don't think I need to be deciding this.
Yeah.
But I'm like, or you could just like stay here. We could all stay here. I'm like, that's better. And they ended up working it out.
Okay. Good.
That's
stayed
crazy.
together.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that
Yeah.
worked.
So yeah, that was kind of the.
It's like you gave your
stuff
dad
that
an
I got.
ultimatum. He's like,
I didn't give him an ultimatum. I was just like, I'm not gonna choose. I'm like, dude, I'm not divorcing her. You are.
Yeah.
Like, so that's how it ended up
Wow.
going. You have just completed Plead the Fifth.